Hi, I'm Mandeep Singh, founder of mandeeps.com, and in this multi-part video series, we're working with our live visualizer module. So let's get started. What we're going to do in this video is look at in-context or in-place editing. So just a quick recap. In this video series, we've created a recipe structure. We've added a bunch of recipes to our live visualizer, to our content library. We've created visualizers to display these recipes outside. And what we're seeing now is we automatically get these add button to add a new recipe quickly from outside within the page, although we could have done that through content library, or we could have we can also edit a recipe just in context or in place instead of going back to the content library. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at how this is powered. So let's go back to the visualizer, and this was just an auto-generated template. We simply went here and we said we want a list view auto-generated template, which automatically creates the master, detail, and pagination templates for us. Let's look at the master template. Now, there's a separate video which covers customizing your templates and the editors and details. So the purpose of this video is just to look at in-place context editing. If you look at this template, which is not a whole lot, we're going to go step by step and really quick look at what's happening. So we got some placeholders, and one of the very first things we see is a if statement, and this is a razor template, so you can write your C# code. The line here is basically saying if the currently logged in user can add recipes, that means do they have permissions to add a new recipe, and these permissions are defined when we created our structure. So let's go back here really quick. This is where we created our structure, and there's the permissions. This is where we're defining who can add a new recipe. So if the currently logged in user has the permission to add a recipe, then basically we're saying that the following code will execute. So back here, if they can add a recipe, then we're going to show them a button that they can click to add a recipe. Now, if you look at this button right here, it's basically when you click on it, it basically calls a method called add recipe, and we'll look at that in a second. And here's some classes to make it have nice icons and so forth. The text for a button is localized, and it's coming from the shared localization file add new. I could have just very easily called this add recipe. So instead of a generic add tag, now I'm looking at add recipe. Obviously, I can also add another localization key and localize it if I'm using a multilingual site. Okay, so this will execute if I have the permission. And then when you click on it, it will actually show you the form to add a recipe. Now, how do we get access to this? And again, we've covered this in detail in another video, but if you do a control space, you get access to everything that's available. For example, can somebody add a recipe? Can they delete it? Can they update it? And we also get access to our functions. If you see right here, model recipes.add, this is the function that you can use here in your on click when you actually want to execute that function. Now, everything is checked client side and server side, so these links won't be visible if they don't have permission. At the same time, even if they get access to the URL to hit the backend, it won't execute because the permissions are again checked at the server end. So safety is again very important, and that's kind of built in. So this code right here is basically saying we'll show a button to add if they need to. The really important thing is add an if clause to show the button if you need to. This text could be anything you want. It could be a simple hyperlink, and then on click, you just basically want to call this. That's it. Now something similar happens down at the bottom where we're saying is if the user. So this is extremely important. In our particular case here, we set that the recipe structure, let's go ahead and kind of demonstrate that really quick. In the permissions, we set that only the owner can update and delete content. So we're overriding the permissions. Even if you say a particular role can update and delete the content, by setting us this to yes, we're overriding them. And because we're overriding them, the template automatically generated a code which basically does not look at the permissions in general, but it's actually looking at the person who's logged in, and it's saying, is it the exact person who actually created the content? If so, then they can edit and they can delete this content. Now for a contrast, if I were to go back to the structure, change the permissions. Let's go ahead and call this no. That means anybody who has permission to update or delete can update or delete that content. Let's go back to our visualizer. I'm going to go ahead and auto-generate the code again really quick. And then look at the template again. And this time, what you do see is it is now simply saying if anybody who can update, then we execute, or if anyone who can delete, then we execute this code. And similar concept again, we just created a link here with the method that's getting out. And that's it. It's really that simple. All right, so let's go ahead and, like I said, the change we did here, let's go ahead and make that change. We can say add recipe. I'm gonna hit update, go back and take a look. And instead of a generic add button, now I have an add recipe button. I click on it, I see the form to add a new recipe. That's it for this short video, and be sure to check the other videos out in this series. Let us know if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you.